Chapter 7. Beth makes some toffee for Moonface. The children talked about nothing else but the Faro tree and its strange folk for days after their adventure. Beth said they must certainly keep their promise to take toffee to Moonface. Promises must never be broken, she said. I'll make some toffee if Mother will let me have the sugar, syrup and milk. Then when it's done, you can take it to Moonface, Joe. Mother said that she could make the toffee on Wednesday after she'd been to the shops. So on Wednesday, Beth set to work making the best, sweetest, truest toffee she could. She set it in a pan on the stove. It cooked beautifully. When it was cooled and was set nice and hard, Beth broke it into small pieces. She put them into a paper bag, gave one piece each to the others, and popped one into her own mouth. I'll have to go at night, I think, said Joe. I shall get any time off in the week, I know. We're so busy with the garden now. So that night, when the moon was shining brightly in the sky overhead, Joe slipped out of bed. Beth and Franny woke up and heard him. They hadn't meant to go with him, but when they saw the moonlight shining everywhere and thought of that exciting faraway tree, they felt that they simply couldn't stay behind. Wouldn't you have felt that too? They dressed quickly and whispered through Joe's door, We're coming too, Joe. Wait for us. Joe waited. They all three slipped down the creaky stairs and out into the moonlit garden. The shadows were very black indeed, just like ink. There was no colour anywhere, only just the pale, cold moonlight. They were soon in the enchanted wood, but dear me, it was quite different now. It was simply alive with people and animals. In the very dark parts of the wood, little lanterns were hung in rows, and the moonlight parts where there were no lanterns, and a great deal of chattering was going on. Nobody took any notice of the children at all. Nobody seemed surprised to see them, but the children were most astonished at everything. There's a market over there, whispered Joe to Beth. Look, there are necklaces made of painted acorns and brooches made of wild roses. But Beth was looking at something else. A dance going on in the moonlight dell, with fairies, pixies, chattering all together. Sometimes they were tired of dancing on their feet. Partners would fly in the air and dance. They were in the moonlight. Franny was watching some elves growing toadstools. As fast as a toadstool grew, an elf laid a cloth on it and put glasses of lemonade and tiny cakes there. It was all like a very strange dream. Oh, I am glad we came, said Beth in delight. Who would have thought that the enchanter would be like this at night? They wasted a great deal of time just looking at everything, but at last they got to the faraway tree. And even here and there was a great difference. The whole tree was hung with strings of tiny lights and glittering softly from branch to branch, rather like the enormous Christmas tree. Joe saw something else. It was a stout rope going from branch to branch for people to hold on to when they wished to go up the tree. Look at that, he said. It'll be much easier to go up tonight. All we have to do is just hold on to the rope and pull ourselves up. Come on. Other folk and some animals too were going up the tree. Not to the top, but to visit friends who lived in the trunk of the enormous tree. All the doors and windows were now open, and there was a great deal of laughter and talking going on. All the children climbed up and up. When they came to the window, the pixie, who had been so angry with them last week because they had peeped in, they found that he was in a very good temper now, sitting smiling at his open window, talking to three owls. But Joe didn't think they'd better stop, just in case the pixie remembered them and threw water over them again. So on they went, holding up the thick rope, climbing very easily. They came to Silky's house and called to her. She was at her stove baking something. Oh, hello, she said, looking up and smiling. So here you are again, just in time too, because I'm baking pot cakes, and they're the most delicious hot. Her silky golden hair stood out round her tiny face, which was red with baking. Joe took out a bag of toffee. We're taking this to Moonface, she said, but do have one. Silky took one and gave them 3 hot pop cakes each. My goodness, how lovely they were, especially when they popped them in the children's mouths. Mustn't stop, Silky dear, said Beth. We've still got a long way to go up the tree. Well, look out for Dame Washer-Lot's washing water then, said Silky. She's dreadful at night. She knows there are lots of people up and down the tree, and she just loves to soak them with her dirty water. The children went on up. They passed Mr. What's-his-name, still fast asleep and snoring in his chair, and dodged Dame Washer-Lot's water sloshing down. Nobody even got splashed at this time. Franny laughed. This really is the most funniest tree I ever knew, she said. You simply never get going to know what's going to happen. They pulled themselves up by the rope, and came out at the top. They knocked on Moonface's yellow door. Come in, yelled Moonface as they went. Moonface was sitting on his curved bed, mending one of his cushions. Oh, hello. Did you bring me that toffee you owe me? Oh, yes, said Joe, handing him the bag. There's a lot there. Moonface, half to pay you for last week's slippery slide, and half to pay you if we need to go down tonight. Oh, my, said Moonface, looking at in great delight at the bag. What lovely toffee. He crammed 4 large pieces into his mouth and sucked with joy. Is it nice? Said Beth. Answered Moonface, quite unable to speak properly, for his teeth were all stuck together with toffee. The children laughed. Is the roundabout land at the top of the far tree? Asked Joe. Moonface shook his head. He said. What land is there now? Asked Franny. Moonface made a face, screwed up his nose. Ubble, he said very earnestly. Oh dear, we shan't be able to get anything out of him at all whilst he's eating toffee, said Beth. He'll just ooble away. What a pity. I would have liked to know what strange land there was tonight. I'll just go and peek, said Joe, jumping up. Moonface looked alarmed. He shook his head, caught hold of Joe, saying, he cried. It's all right, Moonface. I'm only going to peep, he said. Shan't go into the land. Said Moonface in a fright, trying his best to swallow all the toffee so that he could speak properly. Ooble! Joe didn't listen. He went out the door with the girls and climbed up to the last branch of the far tree. What strange land was it this time? Joe peeked up through the dark hole into the cloud, through which a beam of moonlight now shone. He came up to the ladder and ran up to the whole cloud. He climbed up it. His head poked up to the last top, and he gave a shout. Beth, Franny, it's a land of ice and snow. There are big white bears everywhere. Oh, do come and look. But then a dreadful thing happened. Something lifted Joe right off the ladder, and he disappeared into the land of ice and snow above the cloud. Come back, Joe, come back, yelled Moonface, swallowing all his toffee in fright. You mustn't even look at the snowman. He'll get you. But Joe was gone. Beth looked at Moonface in dismay. What shall we do? We'll leave them there.